The school bell rang every day at 11:30 a.m., signaling recess. It was the moment that children looked forward to the most, running to the playground, playing ball, jumping rope, or opening their lunchboxes and sharing treats. For many, it was a festive moment. For others, a reminder of what was missing. Livia was 9 years old, with brown hair tied in a ponytail and eyes that seemed to carry a rare sweetness for her age. She was simple, smiling, and kind. She came from a humble family, but there was something her mother never allowed to be missing: food to share. Every morning, before leaving for school, Livia's mother packed 2 sandwiches wrapped in aluminum foil, a piece of fruit, and a juice, always 2 of each. And every day, noticing this, Livia asked, "Mom, why 2 lunches? I only eat 1." Her mother simply replied, "One is for whoever needs it, daughter. You'll know who to give it." To Livia didn't quite understand, but she obeyed. At first, she even thought about eating both. But when she entered the classroom, she noticed. She always noticed. In a corner, in the last row, there was a boy. Thin, messy hair, downcast eyes. His name was Miguel. And what he mostly did was try to be invisible. Miguel rarely spoke. He was always alone. He never had lunch. When the bell rang, he didn't run to the playground. He stayed in the classroom, quiet, with his hands over his stomach that growled. In the first week, Livia watched from afar. In the second she approached, she sat next to him, said nothing, and extended a sandwich. "My mother sent 2. I can't eat them all," she said, smiling. Miguel hesitated. He looked at her, then at the sandwich. And then, with eyes full of shame and relief, he accepted. That scene repeated itself for weeks. Always quietly, always with a silent gesture. While the others shouted in the playground, they stayed there, sharing bread, silence, and something beyond food, a feeling of care. Other children began to notice. Some laughed, made jokes. "Look at them, the hungry one and the lunchless," they mocked. But Livia didn't care. Neither did Miguel. She just said to herself, "If my mother sent 2, then it's because someone needed one." And every day that someone was Miguel, days passed, and amid the playground games, a silent bond grew between Livia and Miguel. The little girl with kind eyes didn't just see a classmate without lunch. She saw someone who needed help, company, a simple gesture to ease silent pain. Miguel, for his part, spoke little. He lived with his grandmother, an elderly lady already tired from life, who did her best to care for him alone. His parents had separated, and the absence of his father and the distance of his mother left deep marks. Money was tight, and there wasn't always enough for the basics. School was more than a place of learning for Miguel. It was the only place where he was sure something to eat would be guaranteed. It was also where he found in Livia a friend, even if a silent one, who didn't judge him. Livia realized that beyond the lunch, Miguel needed something bigger, someone who believed in him, who saw him beyond hunger and shyness. And so, day by day, that small gesture of sharing lunch was, for Miguel, a seed of hope. While the other children laughed and made jokes, Livia and Miguel created a world of their own, where empathy and care spoke louder than any words. Years passed, and with them came the inevitable changes of life. Livia and Miguel grew up, changed, and the school routine was left behind. Miguel, who had been the shy, silent boy, slowly began to open up, thanks to Livia's encouragement and the confidence she gave him. Little by little, he discovered he could dream beyond hunger and fear. Livia, for her part, also faced challenges at home. Her family struggled to keep what little they had, and she learned early that life isn't always fair. Even so, her heart remained open to help. When elementary school ended, Miguel and his grandmother needed to move to another city in search of better opportunities. The separation was painful, but they knew it was necessary. Before leaving, Miguel thanked Livia with a shy hug and a look that said more than words. "Thank you for everything," he said. "You deserve it." She replied with a sweet smile, and so each went their way, carrying in their hearts the mark of that simple gesture that had united them. The move to a new city was hard for Miguel and his grandmother. Everything was new, different, and the challenges seemed even greater. The school was bigger, the people different, and the longing for Livia tightened in his chest. Miguel missed that silent friendship that gave him strength to carry on. But he also carried inside him a seed of hope that had been born in that small act of sharing. Meanwhile, Livia continued her life in the city where they grew up. She worked to help her family and dreamed one day of doing more than just sharing lunches. She wanted to be someone who really made a difference. Time passed, and the two lost touch but never forgot the connection that had united them. Years later, at an unexpected moment, Livia and Miguel's lives crossed paths again. Miguel, now a young man trained in medicine, worked at the hospital in the city where Livia lived. She, who had faced many hardships, was hospitalized for tests after feeling strange and worrying pains. The news that she might be facing cancer was a shock. When Miguel entered the room to attend the patient, his heart tightened. It was her, the girl who once gave him a sandwich when he needed it most. Without Livia knowing, Miguel dedicated himself with even more effort to care for her, bringing all his gratitude and affection in that gesture that once changed their lives. During treatment, Livia and Miguel reminisced about their childhood moments. The sandwich that seemed small but carried a huge weight of love and hope. Miguel explained that gesture was more than food. It was proof that someone believed in him, and that helped him move forward and achieve his dreams. For Livia, that reunion was confirmation that small acts of kindness can save lives. Literally, the treatment was successful, and the friendship that was born in that classroom, between two shared lunches, became a story of faith, hope, and renewal. With treatment won and health restored, Livia felt deep in her heart a desire to transform the lives of others, just as Miguel had transformed hers. Together, they decided to create a social project at the school where it all began, a place where children in vulnerable situations could receive food, affection, and support for their dreams. The project wasn't just about food, but about hope, dignity, and the certainty that a simple gesture can change the course of a life. The initiative quickly grew, mobilizing teachers, parents, and students. Many children started bringing more than one lunch to share. The community united around that purpose, and stories like Livia and Miguel's began to emerge. What was once a small gesture became a solidarity movement that went beyond the school walls and touched the hearts of the entire town. Years passed and the project became a reference in the region. Livia and Miguel saw many young people achieve their dreams, propelled by a simple act of kindness and empathy. They learned that true transformation begins when we believe in the power of love and caring for others. And so, that lunchbox with 2 sandwiches became a symbol of hope, showing that sometimes to save a life, it's enough to extend a sincere hand. Despite the project's success, Livia and Miguel faced many challenges. Lack of resources, skepticism from some, and life's difficulties tested their faith and determination. But love and the desire to do good were stronger. With every difficulty overcome, they grew stronger and even more united. They knew this was just the beginning of a much greater mission, a mission to spread hope and change lives. The project gained recognition and began to inspire other communities. People from different places started replicating the idea, spreading the power of small gestures. Livia and Miguel saw that true transformation doesn't happen alone. It needs unity, courage, and above all, love. The impact of that simple gesture, started with 2 sandwiches, went beyond what they could imagine. Today, Livia and Miguel's story is told as a living example of how empathy and kindness can save and transform lives. They know that true greatness is found in the small gestures, in the actions we take every day, even when no one is watching. And above all, they believe that everyone has the power to change the world, one act of love at a time. The story of Livia and Miguel reminds us that life can be transformed by simple gestures, a caring look, a shared piece of bread, a helping hand at the right time. How many lives can be saved and renewed when we choose to act with love and empathy? Today, I invite you, look around you. Find someone who needs a little hope and offer your best gesture, no matter how small it may seem. If this story touched your heart, please leave a like, share it with those who need to hear this message, and subscribe to the channel to receive more stories that inspire and transform lives. Together, we can build a world where kindness is the universal language and love is our greatest strength. Never underestimate the power of your gesture. It can save a life, just like it saved Livia and Miguel's. Thank you for being here. See you in the next video.